Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast for the Rewind show, where we look forward to looking back at some of the last times we played this weekend's upcoming opponents. Hello, my name is Craig Fimbo. Welcome back to the Blue Monday Rewind show, where we look at the last time we played our forthcoming opponents in the top division and more matches from the not-so-distant past. This is it, David Diamond, the last Rewind show of the season. What is Cockney rhyming slang for denouement?
No, go on. You got me.
I don't know. There isn't one. There isn't one for
I think there is
right?
one. It's yeah. I mean, the final the final knock-ins of the season. Where's it gone? I mean, this season's been, let's face it, so crap, hasn't it? All right, look, it hasn't really reached any of our expectations, by far below. But for me, and I know it's obviously you're only playing 38 games, but it's gone so quickly, hasn't it? Yeah, doesn't seem 5 minutes we're doing covering the Liverpool rewind. Just incredible.
Exactly. Yeah,
absolutely whizzed by.
Because it hasn't been dotted with memorable matches to sort of, I suppose, make you stop and think, I suppose, has it?
There hasn't been many of those. No, there hasn't. So this is it. The very last one. Got to say, I really enjoyed it. A good bit of fun. Spoiler alert. Well, it's quite good. The last one, we're ending up with a kind of a defeat. Spoiler alert: a defeat, a draw, and a dimmer distant past win, which obviously you just had to throw in there for the narrative of it.
Yeah, one of each. So yeah, the Happy Hammers of East London. Yeah. Love their mums, Ronnie and Reggie, Salt of the Earth, etc., etc. As ever, if you were at any of these matches that we're going to have a chat about, let us know. Stick a message in, and thumbs up, subscribe, etc., etc. Sunday, it was on telly, I think, Dave. Sunday, the 28th of October, 2001.
It was.
Right. We'll go number one. It's pretty, but we've had this one before, mate. Although, right, here's a bit of triv. The guy's name is Joseph Foreman. And in December 2022, he announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election in the USA. Right. And one of his issues he was looking to fix was the legalizing of marijuana. That was his main.
I don't know.
It was Afro Man.
I'm sorry. Before I got that, it was a giveaway, wasn't it? Because I got high. Yeah, we've had this one before. Yeah, great.
Yeah, we have.
Did he really? I missed that.
Well, no, I don't think it was like one of the leading contenders, but he put his name forward.
It was a bit like Screaming Lord Sutch or something like that. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Superb.
Yeah,
I didn't know
Count
that.
Binhead. Count Pothead rather than Count Binhead. Right. Brilliant. In terms of the programme, this is a bit boring as well. It's basically Marcus Stewart. We've had him a couple of times as well.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, look in there. I did like that away kit. To be fair.
Yeah, I still wear those shorts. Actually, I've got a pair of those shorts.
Have you?
Wear those.
Yeah, I think that's a classic away kit. My youngest lad's got the retro shirt. No, like that away kit. Maybe because it's just got good memories about it. Probably.
Yeah, very possibly. You won't be buying this year's then, Dave? No.
Probably not. No. I have. No, I've got the maroon shirt, but that's about it. Yeah, that was bought for me, I've got to say.
In terms of the league table, actually, there's a bit of news leading into the game. Dean Bowditch scored the second and fourth goals for England under 16s against Spain.
I mean, there's a player who had a lot of promise, didn't he? A lot of promise.
Yeah. Right. In terms of the league. Dear. Right. We found ourselves, what we'd give to be fourth from bottom of the Premier League, but that's where we found ourselves. One win in the first 10 matches of the season. Yeah. Which we've spoken about previously, being our friend Fanidi.
Haven't we? Just the one win against Derby. Yeah.
In terms of the lineups, a debut for Thomas Gardso in centre defence. He was a good player, wasn't he, Dave? Very elegant.
He was, yeah. I think perhaps more effective. I don't think he ever really. Well, it was obviously spoiler alert in a relegation season there, wasn't it? I don't think he ever really found his feet. Well, more of him later in this game, but I don't really ever really found his feet at that level. But certainly the following season, he was excellent in the Championship, wasn't he?
Mm.
But strong, elegant, yeah.
Got a good deal got good money for him as well, didn't he? To West Brom we sold him to, didn't we?
It? Yeah.
I think he played a fair few times for them as well.
Well, am I thinking like 800,000? Does that ring a bell? I think something around there. Yeah. No, I know he got good money. He was ultimately one of the fire sale, wasn't he? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe back end of that.
Other than that, pretty standard for that season. Armstrong was up front with Stewart. Sereni was in goal. Royster and Clapham, your wide men. I suppose Jermaine Wright being in the middle with Matt Holland's another talking point.
Yeah, slightly odd.
In terms of West Ham, Glenn Roder's West Ham, as it was, he'd taken over from Harry Redknapp in the summer. And I noticed on the highlights, maybe his assistant manager or one of the coaches was Paul Goddard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was sat next to him.
Usually Harry Redknapp took his trusted, was it Kevin Bond used to be Harry Redknapp, didn't he? So I'm sure he was there somewhere in the background. But okay, Paul Goddard didn't register that one.
In terms of their team, a decent centre midfield pair and a decent centre forward pair as well, aren't they? Really, Hutchinson and Carrick and Canute. We spoke about Canute and Di Canio in the for the away game.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you think that team? You wait a few minutes till you see the next game for the team. Yeah, I mean, both Di Canio and Canute. I love both of those. I mean, Di Canio is, as we will say a couple of more times, just technically brilliant player, absolute head case. But what a player! And I think anyone that played with him at West Ham would say he was just on a different level. Slightly affected, but on a totally different level. Yeah, very much so. I think some great Redknapp stories about him, walking off the pitch, refusing to play, and all sorts. And Freddie Canute, I thought was a great player as well. When we spoke about elegant, but just elegant strike when he's tall, but very, very technically very good.
Yeah. And they'd feature quite heavily in this 3-2 loss, Dave. Starting off with a goal at the unstanded north stand.
Yeah, it does look weird when you look at that back. There's quite a good build-up bench. I think Hutchinson slips it through, and Di Canio at an angle of 6-yard box, he sort of flashes it in the simple finish for him, really, isn't it? Just flashes it in the far corner. Sereni really hasn't got much chance there, but quite easy to see where perhaps our troubles were. How easy it was to just pass their way through there.
Yeah, 1-0 at half time. Although we did bring it back to 1-1 briefly. Mark Venus had a deep free kick, didn't he? Which Shaka Hislop pushed onto Herman Hreiderson's knee, I think, or shin.
Yeah, poor old Herman. He had nowhere to dive, did he? He couldn't dive. He could dive in the unfinished terrace, I suppose, couldn't he? he could have dived in the concrete, but he didn't. But that was a trademark Venus free kick, wasn't it? Brilliant, wasn't it? So much. Just brilliant. A lot of power, just side foot, but with curl away from the keeper. I think identical free kick. Probably a few weeks later, actually. It would have been a few weeks later. The Stewart header against Helsingborg. Exactly the same delivery, wasn't it? Brilliant. Used to drive it in, didn't he? And as you say, Hislop sort of palms it against it, sort of going, flies in the net actually off Herman's knee, doesn't it?
Yeah. 1-1. But then Don Hutchinson, we spoke about before, dances again into the box.
This goal. How many goals do you think this goal has got? So many gives me so many memories, nightmares of this past season, doesn't it? I mean, Hutchinson just tiptoes, just dances into the box with the ball unchallenged. Well, we've heard that one before. Slips it back to Canute, probably about 7-8 yards out, who turns. I think it's a Hreiderson gets a challenge in, and it just deflects up and loops over Sereni, and apologies sort of like just bounces in the net, doesn't it? But that was a classic, wasn't it? That one, definitely shades of this season.
Yeah, and arguably West Ham's third is shades of this season, where their striker out muscles our defender.
Yeah, he's a bit unlucky. I watched this back early. It was a little bit unlucky, guards, so because the ball's played over the top from Carrick. This is Defoe's first West Ham league goal, I believe, actually.
Yeah.
Carrick sort of plays it over the top, and Gardso does pretty. I mean, obviously, physically, must be bigger than Defoe, though. I think Defoe was one of these strikers who's sort of fairly big up the body, but young then, obviously. And he kind of gets across him and actually gets a foot in, doesn't he? But can't hook it away from Defoe. It sort of hits Defoe on the chest. He chests it down, and I mean, Defoe's a finisher, and even then, once he's one-on-one with Serene, it's that old saying, he just goes cold, doesn't he? Just passes it in the corner. Great finish. Yeah, first of many for Defoe. I thought he was a great player.
Yeah, great player for a fair few clubs as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Although we probably scored the goal of the game. Matty Holland scored the goal of the game, didn't he? At the far end.
He can't have scored a better. I can't recall him scoring a better goal for us. Can you? No. I don't think so.
Not technically, but the ball's coming across him to hit it as the ball's coming across him.
It's a great goal. I think Peralta rings the ball about 25 yards out and kind of it breaks to. Well, no, I think he does actually wins it and just manages to poke it to Holland. As you say, it's a hard skill. He lets it run across him, doesn't he? And sort of bends it away from his lob in the far corner. But I think that was I think Defoe scores on 90 minutes, and that's probably like 92. And certainly back in those days, you didn't have 10 minutes of time added on then, did you? That's probably 3 or 4 maximum. Yeah, and a defeat, disappointing one that one. I'm sure that you'd have looked at that and thought, possibility of getting back to winning ways there. But again, that season, it was a tough one.
Yeah, well, I say, look, just getting the league table up. Obviously, our position didn't improve any. And funnily enough, Phil in TWTD mentioned that we had a run of games that included Everton, Fulham, Southampton, and West Ham, and the games where we would have probably wanted to add to our points total, but unfortunately, we only got 3 draws and a loss out of those 4 inverted commas winnable games.
Yeah.
Certainly looking at where they all were around us in the table, not maybe so West Ham, but the other teams. And it looks like, reading other reports from TWTD's news archive, this may have been the start of malicious rumours about claims of a rift between Marcus Stewart and other members of the team.
There was also
apparently they didn't.
Be careful. There was all sorts of scurrilous rumours going around about a rift, wasn't it? Certainly, yeah.
And I think they were actually questioned about it. Holland and Stewart were questioned about it after the match, and
really,
no.
Wow,
yeah. You can read the quotes.
And when did Stewart? When did he actually break his jaw?
Get injured.
Injured. Yeah.
Later in the autumn, was it?
Yeah, possibly? I think it was. There was. It was all sorts of discord, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I had a quick look at the league table at the end of the season. Actually, obviously, we went down third from bottom, but Glen Roeder's West Ham finished 7th that year, which was a decent performance for them.
Yeah.
So Glen Roeder, don't think he did too well the season after that, but no, he certainly did well. Did well there.
No, he did. And then he was really, really sick, wasn't he? Glen
yes.
Roeder?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, poor guy. Right, that's it. Number 1's done. That's the loss out of the way, everyone. We can move on to a draw now. I'll have a quick word for the guys that pay the bills, and we shall be right back.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. Saturday, the 14th of October 2000, Dave. Number 1 in the charts. Now, I like these. They were a successful girl band. They're probably the cool version of the Spice Girls.
All Saints. Correct.
It was their 5th and last number 1.
I would not know that. I mean, I could Pure Shores but no. Go on. Wouldn't know that.
It was Black Coffee by All
Okay.
Saints.
I do know that because it's.
Can you name all 4 members of All Saints?
Shaznay Lewis.
I don't need surnames, mate, but you go for it if you want.
Oh, Chesney Lewis, Melanie Blatt, was it? Nicole Appleton, and another Appleton, and I can't remember her name.
Natalie,
good.
Good
Because
stuff.
they were married, weren't they married? One was married to the guy from the two Liams, wasn't it? One was married to the guy from the Prodigy, Liam Howlett, wasn't it? And one was married to Liam Gallagher, I think.
Yes. I don't whether they were married. I think
Well, partners, whatever.
they were with. Yeah, I think maybe the Prodigy Liam was married. Yeah, very.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I like that era. They were.
It was a good band. They were a good band. Yeah.
Lady Brent's a good band. Good song. Sorry. Now cover start. Another boring one, mate. Oh Jesus Christ! Right.
It's Jimmy.
He was a West. Well, nearby a West Ham youth player who'd scored a banger in the game we just spoke about.
So it's either Matty Holland or Stewart, isn't it? I mean, I can remember that program. Remember that program? Again, like that kit with the blue shorts. Yeah. Might have been Leeds away that season. Anyway,
it would have been around that time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Because we'd actually just beaten Everton 3-0 at Goodison, where the aforementioned Matt Holland had scored yet another banger we spoke about a couple of weeks ago.
We did indeed. Yeah. No, we absolutely did.
Right, in terms of the league table, this being our first season back in the Premier League, Premiership as it probably was back then, found ourselves nicely tucked into 9th position.
Just starting to establish ourselves, weren't we? We had these games against. I think we said the win against Leeds and the draw against Arsenal, and you said the thumping win which we covered against against Everton.
Whereas West Ham found themselves third from bottom with only one win in the first.
Yeah, 8. They were, and I think Harry was going to get relieved of his duties. Whether I can't remember, he got sacked or a mutual consent or whatever it was, and replaced by Rhoda. I think just after the season finished.
Yeah, I think there was a Can you believe it? Harry Redknapp had a disagreement about transfer policy. Right. In terms of the lineups, ourselves, pretty standard. I think Titus Bramble had a cold, so he didn't play. But other than that, you can hang your hat on that lineup.
Yeah, Naylor and Stewart up front, bit of physicality. We said before, he's the type of player we could have done with this season. Naylor up front, flipping it. Yeah, bit more physicality up there. But there's sort of solid team. However, now, this team,
the West Ham one you were speaking about, Dave, includes some names, of Nigel Winterburn and a Stuart Pearce, and also the aforementioned Di Canio. But there's a couple of young English players there that just starting their careers.
I mean, Rio. So I think this must have been one of Rio's last West Ham games. He couldn't have played many more before he.
The next month he moved to Leeds.
Was it, yeah. Okay. So transfer windows then. Very young Lampard and Joe Cole, but even so. And then standard Canute and Di Canio up front. I mean, that's a great mix of experience and youth if I've ever seen a side. That really is. I know we said Ferdinand obviously moved about a month later, but blimey, talk about an underachieving side. Look at that.
Yeah, you've got, if you total up their international caps across the course of their whole careers, you've got a fair few in there, haven't you? All across the team.
A lot. Yeah, absolutely. Because Pearce won a load, obviously Ferdinand, obviously Lampard. I bet Joe Cole probably won more than you would think. Yeah. Even Trev Sinclair won a few. But just good solid players, Sinclair, Steve Lomas, obviously, God, experience like Winterburn, Pearce, exceptional. So, properly, Igor Stimac there, properly underachieved that side, you would have thought. Although, perhaps, given the ages, maybe Pearce and Winterburn perhaps struggled as the season went on, maybe, I don't know, but flipping heck.
Yeah, it's a great team. And as you say about Ferdinand going the next month, Lampard then went the following summer, which was Rhoda's first summer. He had to deal without the Ferdinands and the Lampards in his team, which makes his accomplishment even better, really.
Yeah.
In terms of this match, though, it was a 1-1 draw. Again, match reports, we missed chance after chance, as we largely outplayed West Ham,
we did.
where we played most of the football and they tried to kick us a little bit, I believe, was the gist of the
Pearson Winterburn, surely not.
Yes, Stuart Pearce was one of the main instigators, shall we say.
Yeah. I mean, our first goal's a lovely goal, isn't it? It's just a brilliant Stuart header from a great Wilness cross. Do you know, I actually think Wilness is a bit underrated, actually, I think, to be fair. Delivers a great ball in, and it's a classic striker's goal, and it's Stuart gets across his man, and it's a flicked header. Power on the cross, flicks it in the far corner. It's a great header, isn't it? Great, I guess, pretty similar, opposite way round to the goal he scored at Wembley, to be fair.
Yep. 100%. Yes, exactly what I thought.
Super header.
Glanced into the far corner.
Then I think we did have the majority of play, man. I think they equalised sort of 70 odd minutes. And again, he scored a few goals against us, Di Canio. I think he scored.
Exactly. I was going to say that because we always joke about Ian Wright scoring a lot of goals against us around, in the Premier League. But bloody hell, every time we've looked at a match against West Ham, Paulo Di Canio's wheeling away towards the West Ham.
Unlike Wright, I don't think he scored multiples of goals against us, probably. But I mean, this is a good goal. This is good by Sinclair. He sort of wriggles his way into the box, sort of right side, quite tight actually, and sort of stands up the ball, digs it out beyond. I don't know, it might be McCreel at the back post, and again, this is technique from Di Canio. He's obviously eyes on the ball, lets the ball drop, hits it across right on the volley in the far corner. Amari, take note.
Yes, keep it down, Amari. And that's how she finished 1-1. In terms of the league table afterwards, it didn't do us too many favours, didn't move us any. We were still in 8th. West Ham found themselves
they finished
in the bottom three.
Ultimately finished 15th, West Ham. I mean, blimey. Yeah, even with Rio going, I mean, they got a big wedge in for him, but that's you can perhaps see why maybe they weren't too sorry to see the back of Harry then.
Yeah, no, as you're right to say, maybe they did without on the outside looking in, maybe they did underachieve somewhat. Right, perfect. Well, that's the draw done, which means, drum roll please, it can only be the win that's remaining. And
in the mist,
and as it's now the end of term, so we don't care anymore, Dave. We're going back to the 70s. I
did consider going back to 1962, but I thought that might be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, we might struggle for the YouTube footage for that one. Fair play. Tuesday, the 22nd of March, 1977. And as I say, because it's the last rewind and it's the end of term, we're going to have a sing-song. Right?
Okay. So I thought 77, it's right in the sweet spot of punk and new wave and everything going on. Come on, Craig, What is it?
So if I sing the first bit, you finish it off,
Go on.
Chanson d'amour.
Oh, shit. You are kidding me. We've said this all along, though. We've said this all along. That, that was the music around back in those days. But you just had these records that just got the number one, didn't you?
Yeah, we picked them out. Christ almighty. We thought, at the beginning of the season, we thought, you know what would be a good idea is we can go through the music and go back in time and look at all these number ones. Bloody hell, we've had Gareth Gates, we've had Pop Idol
Afro
bloody winners.
More than once with that Afro Man, including today. But this is the first time I think we've had Manhattan Transfer, that's for sure. Well, obviously would be. It's probably the first and only number one. But oh my word. I remember, do you know what? I tell you it was huge back in those days and probably had a couple of number ones. Like David Soul of Starsky and Hutch fame. Just people like that used to get the number one.
Yeah, Silver Lady. Word. Great song.
Silver Lady, don't give up on us. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, the program, Dave. We've got the program.
Blimey, go on.
Which would have set you back the grand total of 15 pence back in the day. And I believe it's an action shot from the 4-1 loss at Highbury a few matches previous to this.
All right.
It is a Hall of Famer being chased by Pat Rice.
A Hall of Famer being chased by Pat Rice. Fucking hell. So I'm just looking at the side. Cool. I mean, I can only think. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. He flipping should be if he's not. Clive Woods. Ah, yes. Oh,
Clyde
what a
Woods.
player! What a player! That looks like Pat Rice and is that Sammy Nelson behind him, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the other guy. I think pretty sure it's Pat Rice on the right.
Yeah, that's Pat Rice, and I think that's Sammy Nelson. Who was I talking to about Clyde Woods? Oh, someone I played golf with, someone I caught up with a couple of weeks ago, and we just got talking about football and stuff. And I said, "Who's your favourite?" You know, I never said to you before. I said he's a bit older vintage than me even. So I said, "Who's your favourite ever player?" He said, "You know my favourite ever player at Ipswich? Clyde Woods." He said, "Loved him, absolutely loved him," and he was an absolute wizard. Absolute wizard. What a player!
Brilliant.
Yeah. And it was so good. I think he left and went up the road, didn't he? Because he was from that. I think he was from the sort of Norfolk stuff. I think he was from Norfolk, actually. We signed him from a team in Norfolk, Gothic Juniors, I think. And he went back up there. But such was his so well thought of. I can't recall whether there's really any animosity when he went to Norwich.
Yeah. And it'll trigger a few people, but not only is the kit we're wearing yellow, but the program itself was.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, I can remember that one. Yeah, I can remember that. Now I've seen it. I can remember that Sure, I had that program. Remember that program front. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Just quickly before we do go on to the match, you can just give us some thoughts and recollections of the match. So I've got the Ipswich Town team here, which has got a couple of interesting names in it, hasn't it?
Yeah. Again, this is a season we covered. We were really well into it, and again, this was another season where, with a bit of luck, with injuries and a slightly bigger squad. No disrespect, but I think we would have won it. We would have done this. So this would have been a few weeks before the famous Beattie flare up, literally bonfire, whatever, whatever happened. But I didn't know he was injured for this game, and I looked back and he'd missed a couple of games before this. These injuries are just starting to kick in. So Dale Roberts, who to be fair was really, bless him, rest his soul, who was a more than dependable centre half. But again, Beattie was just so important. Just again, no disrespect to Dale Roberts, or whoever covered for him, was just irreplaceable, absolutely irreplaceable. And I think had Beattie stayed fit, I think we would have. He was that big a player, then we would have perhaps won the league that season. And other than that, I mean, it's pretty much a cup final team with obviously Wymark, who picked up the knee injury the following season, and Geddes in for Wymark, Beattie in for Roberts. That's the cup final team, isn't it?
Yeah, and I did have a quick look at I haven't got the West Ham team on the screen, but I had a look at their team. And there's some names in there that I was still peeling the back off their Panini stickers in like 1983, 1984. And you think, if you can build a team around this, like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys' names here. Jeff Pike. How many games did Jeff Pike play for West Ham?
One club man.
Yeah.
500 plus, I'd say.
372.
Okay. Going big. Went big on it. Oh, go on.
Alan Devonshire.
I'd say more again. I just see him as a one club man.
450.
Oh, 450. Not bad.
Here we go. Let's go to Trevor Brooking.
I guess it's one club man. He couldn't have been
650.
Yeah, he's got to be 600. And Billy Bond's about 2,000, isn't it?
Frank Lampard Senior, 660.
Oh my God, of course.
And then, as you say, Billy Bonds,
700.
Billy Bonds, 799, apparently.
No.
Yeah.
What do you thought was manager, and he just thrown on his kit when he went back as manager and just went out there for 800? I mean,
but you got these guys here who form the backbone of your team, and Billy Bonds and Frank Lampard made their debut in 1967. 10 years previous, they'd made their debut. They'd already getting their testimonials when this game was being played.
Billy Bonds was a Charlton, I think. Billy Bonds actually signed. Obviously, Lampard came through the academy youth system back then, but Billy Bonds, I think they actually signed from Charlton. I'm just looking at other players there. I've got the team here: Keith Robson, Billy Jennings. Yeah, they're all established players. Mervyn Day, obviously, in goal. And I tell you what, I bet the two centre backs, Kevin Locke and Tommy Taylor, played a good few games as well. I'm not saying maybe not 300 plus, but that's how it was back in.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it was just back then. I mean, just look at our team. So. Ultimately, how many games was Cooper, Mills, Burley, Hunter, bloody hell, Walk, Weimar? I mean, players just didn't move.
Yeah,
players just didn't move. I mean, I just really look at this game. It was just a narrative. The great Paul Mariner again. God bless him. First hat trick for Town. Quiz question for you: he scored 3 hat tricks for Town. Craig, other 2?
Not a clue. He'd gone by the time I started watching, man.
Oh,
he was playing for Arsenal by the time I started watching. Man.
Yeah, you would know them. So it was he scored 1 in the cup 6th round at Millwall, and the 6-0 game against Man United.
Ah, yes. Which we very possibly covered earlier in the season.
Which we very possibly covered. So 3 hat tricks, and this particular game was came fresh on the back of that week. He got his first call up into Ron Greenwood's England squad.
Ah, soon to make his debut.
Yep. Spoiler alert: we go on to win. There's a Tommy Taylor own goal, kicks it off, and then they get a late penalty through Keith Robson, but we win the game 4-1. But again, that season was very much a season of so near for the league, but yet so far, unfortunately.
Let me get. I've got the final league table here for the season, and actually, let me get the league table after the match.
Oh, well done. Yeah, you go.
And you will see that we were top of the league with 32 games gone, albeit on goal difference from Liverpool, but we found ourselves top of the league. However, the final league table I've just popped up as well. 10 games later, we'd managed to drop down to 3rd. I think if you look at that league table, Dave, apologies to those who are listening, but 12 losses probably killed us there, didn't it? It's the same amount of losses
we just lost
down in 12th.
Again, 11th. Liverpool back then, I mean City to a degree, but Liverpool back then were just so consistent, absolutely so consistent. Well, yeah, they were just about to a few weeks away from after that to go and win their first European Cup. Nearly won the treble that year. Lost in the cup finally to Man U. It can't all be down, but yeah, there's points there that Beattie plays. We accrue more points. Whether it would have been enough at the end of the day, because Liverpool, like I said, were just so consistent. Look at it, but yeah, just another one. I think perhaps it was a bit distorted. I think we lost to Man City the very last game of the season. I'm pretty sure. So maybe that score goes. I know it's only 2 points for a win, but that score goes the other way, and we probably finished second. Do we on goal difference?
Well, you haven't got to change. You haven't got to change too many of those 12 losses into points to claw yourself back into.
No, you just haven't.
The top,
no, you just haven't. No, another great season, but sadly another one that got away from us, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we still at least we've got to talk about a victory, which is probably how we want to end the rewind shows for this season. Before I say goodbye, actually, Thursday, the guys will be back for pre-match of the West Ham game, and then Sunday we'll be back post-match for the Flagship. But yeah, so as I say, thanks for watching or listening. Hope you've enjoyed the shows as we've gone on throughout the season. I think, unlike Ipswich Town, we've got progressively better during the course of the season. Our performances have got, I think, better.
I think so. I think, we need to be critiqued. I mean, I've got the sausage rolls. Just about to get them out of the oven for the wrap party, Craig. So, yeah.
And I've got Afro Man knocking at the door, and he's bringing something along as well.
Superb. No, it's been great. Been really great fun. Thanks to everyone who's left comments and watched both obviously the video and the audio as well. It's been it's been really, really enjoyable. Who knows? We might get. I don't think we'll be quite doing rewind. Well, who knows? It might be in a perhaps slightly different form. Who knows?
Exactly. Unsure whether we'll be doing the same for Preston and Hull next season, but let's suggest possibly not.
We've certainly got history with we've certainly got history with them. So we might struggle with Wrexham, I would say. But anyway, maybe one painful cup game I can think of, but that's probably about it. But yeah, no, let's hope next season, we start with a bang and brings us a little bit more joy.
Yeah, hopefully we haven't been the curse for them this season. Wonderful. Well, this has been, as I say, the Rewind Show on Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We will see you next time.